Hey, what's up guys? Sean back with another video, and I was looking around the internet for more of this feeder stuff. You know me, once I get going down a rabbit hole, it's pretty hard. I'm gonna dive deep, and it's led me to some weird places. But I figured out that friggin' Boogie had a feeder video. I didn't know he had a feeder experience. The only thing I'm used to seeing from him is e-begging on the internet, or recently when Wings of Redemption just beat the hell out of him in a boxing match. So I imagine this is gonna be funny, because this guy is always good for a laugh, but oh man, this is gonna be freaking good, like 50 Shades of Buffet good. Like, I got to see this, so you got to see it too.
Wouldn't you know it, the last video I uploaded about my terribly degrading and embarrassing experience trying to be a sugar daddy is one of my most viewed videos that I've uploaded in the last year.
You're supposed to be cutting out the sugar, buddy. Losing weight. Also, why would you ever want to be a friggin' sugar daddy? There don't seem like that many benefits to that. I don't know. Maybe some of you women got sugar daddies out there. You'll have to let me know. I got one message from a woman on Instagram claiming to be a sugar mama, but it took me about 10 seconds to figure out that this was some guy in his friggin' bedroom just typing away trying to get guys on there. And then he probably was going to tell me that his bank account got froze. I need to send him money. But that's usually how that stuff goes.
So yeah, the message has been heard loud and clear. You want to hear more disgusting, embarrassing, and degrading stories from my life?
Sure do.
And I'm going to give you what you want. The following story is exaggerated for comedic effect. Please don't sue me. Please don't take my magic cards. That's all I have left, Mommy. Now, my YouTube demographics tells me that the majority of people that watches my videos are above the age of 20. But if you...
Mine's like 24 to 35 and like all friggin' female, like 86% female. But what can I say? Gotta be God's gift to women.
We're not one of those people. I would like to politely ask you to hit the back button, because this story ain't for you, kid, okay? Go watch Coco Melon. When you look like the Michelin Man, sometimes you have to settle when it comes to dating. Sometimes you have to settle on looks.
No, you don't. You don't have to settle for anything. If you're just confident and can make somebody laugh, I firmly believe you can get in their pants. You don't have to be the best friggin' looking guy. But just in my experience, that's kind of how it goes.
Or settle on personality. Or just accept the fact that they want to feed you to death. At least that's what 30-year-old me thought, okay? These days, either you love me right or you don't get to love me at all. Doesn't matter what I look like, doesn't matter how crazy I am. I'm not willing to settle, and you shouldn't be either. That's why I say anyone...
I haven't had a chick try to feed me to death, but when in Rome, you know. I'm kidding.
A woman who's crazy enough to date me is too crazy to be dated. So back in 2005, I met a woman that wanted to feed me to death. And yeah, I was willing to let her do it because I was lonely. I had spent 7 years as a shut-in. I hadn't dated another person in 7 years.
Oh, buddy, they have websites for that. You can even buy a rubber thing now. You don't even... Like, you women, you don't need us at all. You have all these new nifty little toys and stuff. They got friggin' crazy names, too. Those things are wild.
And I finally got back out in the world, and I heard about all these crazy new social media websites like MySpace. Got on MySpace, and within just a month or so, I met...
Did any of you date on MySpace or try to date people from MySpace? That was like the wild, wild west. Like, people didn't even know. Like, the internet was still relatively new. People were friggin' just meeting up with random ass people. Like, it could totally be a friggin' serial killer at that point. But people were dating off MySpace. You clicked on my MySpace, it showed a bunch of friggin' like Smurfs smoking weed and played Blueberry Yum Yum by Ludacris. I was such a little pothead in high school.
Met a woman from my local area who was interested in a guy my size. Now, gentlemen, you may meet a woman who's willing to deal with the fact that you're a big guy. Maybe they are even attracted to it. But if you find a woman who exclusively wants to date big guys...
You chubby chasers are out there, and you know it too. But there's more to love. I ain't mad at you. Us fat boys need it too. It's fat boy... Oh, fat boy winter's over. Damn. You guys don't need to stay warm now. You need air conditioning.
And only big guys. It might turn out to be a red flag. In this case, it definitely was. After getting to know each other, after going on a few dates, after kind of liking each other, she explained that, yes, she was attracted to me not just because of my size, but because she very much was into that. And she would be even...
Oh my god, when she gets turned on at the Chinese buffet. Big red flag. Dating somebody that wants to date you strictly for the size of your gut and how much you can eat. Or men doing it to women, feeding them like that dude yesterday. It's just friggin' weird. Like, they don't care about your health at all. It's just weird, man. If they start wanting to bring friggin' like nutty buddies to the bedroom, you get the hell out of there.
More attracted to me if I was willing to put on weight for her, because that was her kink, that was her thing. She liked to date big guys and help make them even bigger. Now,
Hold on, where was this chick when I was at 600 pounds, man? Because I could have achieved that easy. I could have been her friggin' dream come true. Granted, I had a girlfriend, or have a girlfriend, don't tell her.
obviously, anybody with self-esteem would run away there. Anybody there who didn't want to die a premature death would run away. But I was both, not so right in the head and had no self-esteem whatsoever. Hell, I barely have any now. So the idea of being fucked to death.
The self-deprecating humor really doesn't do it for me. It's like me, I'm making fun of myself. I don't like that. I don't like when people do that. Sometimes I'll do it. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. I don't know.
By a beautiful woman who was also feeding me cheesecake sounded, chef's kiss. Exactly the way I wanted to go.
Cheesecake,
and
baby.
whereas obviously I'm not going to show you a picture because I don't want to dox this poor young lady who made the mistake of dating me
If she exists, or if she's from like friggin' Narnia.
20 years ago. I do want to say, at the time, she was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever dated. Probably was the most beautiful woman I ever dated.
And she had a pulse.
Skinny, petite body, tall, long hair, gorgeous, and you know what? Probably still one of the most beautiful women I've dated, if I'm being honest. And the sex was kinky and weird and good, and I should be honest, the sex is probably only good for me, because the sex can only be so good for the woman involved when she's making love to a man this size.
You bite your tongue, buddy. The best 5 seconds of your life right friggin' here. Even at 600 pounds. Like a roller coaster. Up and down.
Is in the shape of a waterbed. But she did, in fact, love the body I was in. She liked the man titties and the folds. And she would, we would be at a movie theater and she would be, grabbing creases and hiding her hands in holes.
Oh no, that's so weird. She saw that jiggle, wanted a piece of the wiggle, huh, buddy?
And stuff, and I didn't get it, but she got it, and that's good enough for me. I was just happy to be there, man. And food, for the one and only time, was part of the sexual regime. We would go to a buffet, I would overeat, we would come home, she would be so turned on, we wouldn't make it into the house.
How do you want to have friggin' sex after a buffet? You're so full and just uncomfortable. At least that's how I always was at a buffet, but I didn't know how to pace myself. I would just eat until I couldn't eat any friggin' more. But if she sees you pounding an egg roll and comes home and wants some of your sweet and sour pork, there's probably an issue.
House sometimes, okay? There was kinky foreplay stuff happening at Ryan's Steakhouse, okay? There were people at Japanese buffets throwing up their sushi because of the stuff we were doing in the back room, all right? It was weird, man. And she would cook for me and...
What are you guys doing in public if you see that going on? Like if you see her friggin' reaching over with a chopstick or something and dingling his little sushi, what are you doing?
Bake for me. And she would make a cheesecake with extra butter and cream in it. And I mean, it was so good. Even Leo wants some. That's how good it was. If you have never had a woman sit in your lap naked and feed you cheesecake, I highly recommend it.
No, I've never been there before. But there's always a first. Cheesecake's pretty good.
Even though I don't have a lap and she was actually just laying on my gut, it still was super hot. And we ended up moving in together, and I was broke and lonely and miserable, but when she would come home from work with her paycheck and use it to buy groceries and force feed me cheesecake, life was...
Oh no, when groceries become foreplay. This is bad. You going to the grocery store, baby? Oh yeah, go to that grocery store for me. Make sure you get the double stuff Oreos.
Slightly less miserable than it had been for me at that point. So I would accept it. We even fetishized Thanksgiving, which is, I think, a feeder's dirtiest, nastiest holiday, okay? And I'm going to tell you the story. I told it on the A Street podcast.
Where'd you put that stuffing, buddy? What'd you do with that turkey baster? Come on. Inquiring minds are dying to know.
I'm going to censor myself a little bit because this is YouTube and not a live stream, so I'm going to try to be less graphically detailed, but I'm going to get into it. The night before Thanksgiving, she baked a bunch of pies, and I woke up on Thanksgiving Day with a hot, fresh pie, not a slice of pie, a hot pie ready for me for breakfast. And I
think we could find this? No, I'm just kidding.
Did what I was told to do. I ate that pie because that's what you do in this type of relationship. She had been up since the crack of dawn baking a turkey and a ham, and I mean she was a good cook. She had been basting this turkey like it was the cure for cancer. She was basting this turkey like she was going to win a Food Network award. Okay,
buddy, I think you're still pretty turned on by the food at this point. Because that is what you're focused on, and I'm not worried about that. I want to know what she did after breakfast. Like, let's get past the pie and get to the pie.
And when it came out, it was juicy and delicious, and I ate the turkey. I want to make that clear. I did not eat part of the turkey. I ate the turkey. When I was so full, I couldn't move anymore. She got up.
How do you eat a whole damn turkey, first off? Secondly, turkey's not my favorite thing. It's usually, if you don't cook it right, it's always dried out. Like, I've always had dry-ass turkey. My mom would cook a turkey like it's the friggin' Sahara Desert. Don't tell her that, but she cooks the hell out of the thing.
And started undressing, and she's like, are you sure you can't make more room? I'm like, sweetheart, there's nothing left to eat. I ate it all. And she's like, oh, but there's still dessert. She goes into her pantry. I'm so fat, I couldn't fit into this pantry. She goes into the pantry, comes out with a Walmart bag, and she's like, let me go make dessert. Which didn't make sense to me because I'd already eaten the pies for breakfast.
Oh my god, this is crazy. Whenever the chick brings cosmic brownies into the bedroom, that's probably a sign that you need to get the hell out of there, buddy. Especially if you can't fit into the pantry. And then she's friggin' throwing honey buns at you like, well, throwing honey buns at you both ways, I guess.
She closed the bedroom door and after a few minutes told me to come in. And boys, she had turned herself into dessert. She had display.
This is when I know that this is just a scene from Varsity Blues, and he's totally making half of this up. Because Varsity Blues, they do the whipped cream bikini thing. If you've seen the movie, you know. Man, young me loved that movie.
Laid Oreo cookies on her body, and
How'd
she
I know
put
Oreos
maraschino cherries in a place that is guaranteed to give you an infection. And I had a very good Thanksgiving. I very much enjoyed that Thanksgiving. Thank you for that. Thank you. But there were plenty of...
Here's my problem, alright? At his size or my size, even if she puts all that thing in all them places, you're going to be out of breath trying to get them. And you're not exactly the most physically active. Like, where there's a will, there's a way. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think... this story sounds really embellished to me.
Signs that I was ignoring at this point that things weren't right. The relationship wasn't as romantic as I would have liked. It was definitely very sexual. It was definitely very fetishistic, but it wasn't very emotional or romantic. And that's what I had been using.
What's romantic? The chick bakes you breakfast in bed, brings you pies, lets you pound a whole turkey, baste it like it's going out of business. Like, she seems like the friggin' dream girl. I'm just kidding.
Used to up to that point. But I thought everybody's different, so maybe that's just not her style. We also had some beliefs that just did not coexist very well. She was a big fan of alternative medicine, whereas I'm a big fan of Western medicine because it had saved my life so many times up to that point.
I don't know how I feel about alternative medicine. Honestly, if it helps you, it helps you. A lot of people swear by it. I've never even seen a chiropractor. I kind of want to go see one, though.
She was also a big fan of the occult and the spiritual and demonic stuff. And she also said that the spirit of Robert Earl Hughes spoke directly to her. Now, that is Ripley's, believe it or not, big fat guy.
Okay, this chick is batshit crazy. If she is starting to see fat guys in her friggin' like dreams and she's having conversations with them, she's probably got a damn demon. So you need to run, buddy. That's crazy. She's talking to people. Like, Fat Bastard shows up in her dreams from Austin Powers and tells her, you must feed Boogie. Like, come on, buddy.
And apparently that was her spiritual advisor. And, you know, I just thought it was one of those quirky things that people say, but no, she meant it. She genuinely thought she was talking to the voice of Robert Earl Hughes. And in the year that we got together, I put on about 100 pounds, making it all the way up to my record of 587 pounds.
He was smaller than me still? And he's pounding whole turkeys? And having pie for breakfast? Where did I get screwed here? Because nobody was friggin' putting maraschino cherries in. Well, I would want them to. I don't like cherries. But you know what? I'll take a cosmic brownie. I'll take some cheesecake in bed. I got screwed.
And that was not good enough for her. She wanted me to be as big as Robert ever was. And she believed I could be that man for her. 1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds, 1,600 pounds.
Oh my God. When your girl camps out Weight Watchers to look for her next victim, this is just all kinds of effed up. When guys do it to women, it's also just as crazy. But usually you don't see the women doing it to the guys. It's more the guys doing it to the women. I don't know, because they like them to be bigger. BBW, SSBBW, like they said yesterday. This is just weird all the way around. This chick is putting Starbursts in places they never should have gone, bringing Nutty Buddies.
She believed with her help and her guidance, I could get there. And not only could I, but I absolutely should. And I want to be fair to this woman. I was there for it. I kind of was. I didn't think I would ever get that big because I couldn't imagine how a person could.
Well, yeah, 7 years, never. You're going to be a little lonely. And you might go, this is like some 40-year-old virgin stuff. Like, whatever. If there's a pulse, he's in. Like, couldn't get a chick wet if you threw her into a swimming pool, so he's there. If he's got to eat whatever, he's there.
Could possibly get that big, and it seemed no matter how much I ate, I couldn't pass the 600-pound mark, no matter how hard I was trying. But absolutely, that was our goal. God, I was a mentally unwell person. I mean, I still am now, but I was.
Bro, I'm trying to figure out, like, I know people watch My 600-Pound Life for motivation or whatever to lose weight, but this chick is watching it, like, sitting there getting turned on. That's so weird. Like, people like that exist. There's a fetish for everything. There's a fetish for people that like to stick worms in there. If you don't believe me, Google it. You'll be disgusted.
Then, too. But eventually, like any morbidly obese person will, I got very sick. I got another infection in my leg, lymphedema, and I knew that I needed to go to the emergency room and get antibiotics before it got worse. And she forbid me to go get help.
Oh, this chick's 100% trying to kill you. Like, she wants your blood pressure to spike. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something else in them friggin' pies. Like, maybe she was crushing up something, throwing it in there. She was 100% trying to kill you. And not just a slow death either. Like, she did not want you to get help. I think she had a fetish for people going to the morgue. If she's talking to dead people, like, this chick is just insane.
She said that if I went to the emergency room and I talked to a doctor, that doctor was going to insist that I lost weight. And I'm like, sweetheart, every doctor I've ever met has insisted I lose weight. I never have. I don't know that I ever will. Thank God I was wrong. But I'm like, I don't think I'm going to lose weight this time, but I need the medicine to not, die.
People get mad when doctors say that too. Like, no, people know that their weight is what's causing their health issues. It's just easier said than done. You know what I mean? Like, I knew my weight was absolutely going to lead me to an early grave. That's why I finally started doing something about it. But it took me a long time.
And she didn't seem to care. She was absolutely okay with me dying then. And that clued me into the fact that it wasn't just a sexual fetish that I was fat or getting fatter. It was about control. It was about controlling me. And eventually it was about killing me.
Usually it is in these feeder-feedy relationships. It's almost always a control thing. But if she's bringing Nutter Butters to the bedroom and you have to eat the whole friggin' pack before you can, like, go to sleep, she's 100% trying to kill you.
Maybe not for every feeder, but at least for her, for sure. So in order to make it to the emergency room, I did what made sense to my brain at the time, which was swallow the majority of a bottle of aspirin and then call 911 and tell them that I had taken too much aspirin. And they came and got me and took me to the emergency room and gave me some charcoal for the aspirin and gave me...
Oh my God, that's insane. You had to do that to get out of there? Like, weren't you just man enough to say no? Like, I don't want this relationship anymore. This is getting 50 shades of effed up and I gotta get out of here. Like, why couldn't you just say that? This is 100%. Well, not 100%. It's probably like 50% true, 50% false. I don't buy all of it.
Me antibiotics for the leg, and then when I got home, she was gone, which was good because I had finally grown a spine and decided that I wanted her gone. So when we talked on the phone and she was in her hotel,
You grew a spine. You ate a whole bottle of medicine to get away from her. But all I want to know is, did she leave any cheesecake? Like, did you get some more when you got home? Like, where was the cheesecake?
I explained to her that this lifestyle was over, that my weight was my issue. She still wanted to be with me. She could, but I had a pretty strong suspicion she wouldn't want to be. She told me that she would come home on one condition: if I would take her out to a buffet and eat really good to make it up for her. To which I told her I'd like to take her to someplace else that doesn't have a buffet. And
Here's what I want to know. In these feeder-feedy relationships, are they ever just trying to feed you like broccoli? Like, okay, I want you to eat this celery out of my prison pocket. Like, I want you to do this. No more Starburst for you, mister. You're on a diet. Like, sugar-free this. And, like, is that how it works? Or is it just 100% full-speed Oreos, Nutty Buddies, Snickers, and the... wherever you can think to put them, guys. Like, peach rings on your...
that she'll like it very much. And she said, nope, it's a buffet or nothing. I said, if you say the word buffet again, when you get here, your shit will be on the lawn. She said, buffet, buffet, buffet. And I hung up and called a couple of friends.
Buffet? Well, how are you going to friggin' take her greatest pleasure from her? It's not like you didn't know from the friggin' start, buddy. Kudos to you for getting out of an abusive relationship, because you were 100% the punk in this relationship. But at the same time, you signed up for it. You knew that was her deal from the start. So I'm a little confused at when it became an issue for you. Probably the hospital thing. But you should have got out way before that, buddy. This is just crazy.
And by God, by the time she got there, her shit was packed up. It was raining, so I didn't put it out on the lawn. But by God, I put it out on the porch. As I tend to do, though, I tried to stay friendly with her, and I successfully did. In fact, years later, she ended up with an abusive guy. That abusive guy beat the hell out of her, so I helped her escape that guy.
Oh my God. This chick tried to kill you, so you white knighted and wanted to be her friend? Why? See, sometimes it works. You can be friends sometimes, but to me, a lot of the time, it's just better to have a clean break, in my opinion. Because if you leave a door open, somebody always slide back in. And she's coming back in with a big thing of Starburst. So she's definitely not going to help you with your weight loss or whatever. So it's probably better that it was a clean break, but I bet she tried to come back too, because you've got like 4 million subs now. I bet she definitely tried to slide in that door with a couple of Snickers and a couple of Nutty Buddies again.
And make it to her mother, who was able to take care of her. And, I felt pretty good about that. I felt pretty good about that. A woman who literally wanted to kill me, I was there to help her when someone else was trying to kill her. And you know what? I probably shouldn't put that part in the story, but I'm going to, because I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself.
What are you proud of? Yes, you helped somebody out that needed help. I'm all for helping somebody out, but it was an abusive relationship. You should have just left your friggin' nose out of it. Like, I'm not even sure that part is true, because she seemed wildly manipulative, so there might not have ever been a guy. She might have just seen that you had gotten a little bigger or gotten a little more famous and decided she was going to slide back in. So she might have been shooting her shot again, but you never know. It could have been, could have not been, but I really don't trust this chick from what you're telling us, but I also don't trust you, so...
And by God, it's been 20 years. I deserve the kudos for it. So feel free. Call me a hero. Yes, I am a hero. And we remained friendly right up until I met the woman who would eventually be my ex-wife, but my wife at one point. And she asked me, had I met somebody? I said, yes. She says, is it serious? I said, yes. She blocked me on everything because I...
Okay, so you talked to this chick the entire time. You were, like, kind of flirting. There's this whole, like, back and forth little dance. Maybe you weren't dating her, but you were talking to her and just leaving that option. A lot of people do that. They leave, like, a second, like, an exit strategy, you know what I mean? They'll have somebody on the back burner. I don't think it's right. If you're going to break up with somebody, just break up with them and date someone else. But, yeah, no. This is so wild to me. Like, this is just dumb. Why date this chick for that long and then leave the door open for her to come back in when it was that bad a relationship. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I guess she realized we were never getting back together. And that's probably for the best, right? I hope she's okay. And if you ever see this, I hope you're well. All things considered, I hope you're well. I'm doing pretty good.
I don't.
And I hope you are too. So
I hope you choke on that Snickers. You tried to kill me. Like, no. There's no freaking let's be friends, buddy buddy, pal pal. Like, it just don't work that way. But I think that's the end of the story. He's about to go into his rant. But this is wild. I'm telling you. If you try to bring cosmic brownies into the bedroom, whipped cream, chocolate syrup, do your thing. People go off. That's pretty normal, pretty tame stuff. But when it starts coming to, like, she's throwing honey buns at you and seeing if she can get them to stick to your chesticles, that's probably a little too far. Like, you probably should cut that off. But Boogie, kudos to you. You dated an abusive chick that was trying to kill you, and then you swooped in to save her later on from another abusive man, and a whole bunch of other make-believe stuff coming straight from Narnia, and then you pulled out the Time Wizard Stone. But, alright guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you later. Peace.